Alright, good evening everybody. We are here with the 89th episode of the Apostle Obsonate playthrough as I Cubscribe. I am, as always, your host, System Chunk. So, I felt like I was on a good path in the last episode as far as just kind of getting things dealt with, and then I made a couple of questionable choices in terms of what I neglected and what I worked on. So what has happened here is it's resulted in 2 dread on the board with the Season of Despair coming up. We've also locked up the expedition. Which means I don't have my easiest source of contentment. And so the next best thing that I can do is to stop working on the commissions and start painting, so that I can hope to kind of get lucky as far as the contentment's concerned. I'm not quite at the hair on fire threat level yet, but I do want to be very, very careful over the next few turns, because this is something that can very quickly sort of spin out of control. We do also have the Suppression Bureau after us, but that's actually the least of my concerns right now. So let's... We're already healing, I think. No, we're not. Okay, I will get some fresh air and exercise then. We do have almost 3 minutes for the affliction, so if I can kick that can down the road, I will. And I'm safe for now. My adversary does not have enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. Okay, so I got lucky there. I finished the manuscript for Count Jannings. Now, I would have loved to have done more, but again, I gotta work with the world as it currently stands. And a courier has arrived from our delight with a single vial of their most holy blood. So not quite when I needed it, but we'll work with that. That is a concern much further down the road. Right now, I'm going to start with my painting. And I'm going to put mostly passion inside of this simply because we still need to deal with the staleness. It would, of course, be nice if I could, if I could earn a little something, I don't know, something more. But for now, I think I'll work with what I've been given. Let's make a painting of Slee. Something to remember them by, perhaps. Sun is setting, we look back across the desolation we crossed, and at all the colors it assumes in the evening light. Night falls, stars prickle, the wind presses cold hands to our faces. Onwards. Okay, so we've got Grail for the curse. We do still need to deal with Lantern or Knock, so I'll probably add a Lantern follower next. And then Winter was probably the next one that we'll need. But again, I want to make sure that I have at least one of each ready to go in the expedition. One of the reasons why I build the expeditions that particular way is that I want to try and make it so that I can immediately react with 1 card to any situation that comes up. And if I think it's actually happened in this playthrough a couple of times where I've overweighted on one particular solution, and what it's meant is that the consequence for that is that I actually wind up missing out on the activity. If it's an obstacle, usually the penalty for that is funds. But of course, if it's the curse, we've now learned that that's something that can pretty much end us. So, all right, I could spend money on better paints, or perhaps I could find more exotic pigments. For now, we'll just settle for the colors of the night. Or sorry, we'll just settle for better paints, standard paints. The air is curdled now. I am home again in this lumpen flesh. Better, perhaps. So again, 25 seconds. We have... I'm going to leave the dream slot open just in case we can get rid of a dread. Okay, so we said I was going to add Lantern follower, so Pope Clifton comes in. World goes away, so we are gonna wind up with the Season of Despair before any relief comes in. And Season of Visions coming up, so all of a sudden fascination isn't as convenient of a fix. I've created something distinctive and beautiful. It will very likely enhance my reputation. So I've got vitality for the affliction if I need, but again, I'm balancing a few forces here. So again, I'm not using the vitality yet. I want to see if we get any contentment, and my followers returned empty-handed. Today's tasks were beyond them. Okay, let's think if there's anything else I can do with the talk verb before I go too crazy. Well, first of all, we can turn in with Count Jannings. That seems to be a good idea. The Artist's Reward. My recent work is considered notable. I've exhibited the latest paintings publicly. Surely someone will buy something. So, plenty of mystique. Well, you know what? That actually kind of helps me because we don't have the Season of Visions yet. The doors of vision swing wide, a little darkness will mellow my light. Even dread has its uses. And we did get a contentment, so in 52 seconds that will deal with the Season of Despair. So you're never guaranteed things, but that definitely worked the way it was supposed to. The last question is, did we wind up getting any staleness packed away? Even came ahead on that front too. Okay, and contentment, yeah, that's going to last 60 seconds, so unless we generate a dread, we are in good shape. So, I'd love to do another painting, but I would also love to do some commissions. So I'm going to start with a simple moth one. I don't think this will get me anything that I need, but we can just get it out of the queue and run it through. And then there's really no indication what I want to do with the study verb. One thing I can try and do with with any influence is I can usually try and like upgrade it into something, but that's not really. I guess that's not really what I need right now. So in this case, I'm just going to sit on the. I'm going to sit on the study for now. We call upon the ivory dove who cannot be deceived. The dead watch us closely, expressionless as saint statues, but we are invested with the power of winter. Probably the dead will recognize that. Here we will add violet. So that's brought us up to 10. The dead circle the edge of our vision like frayed dreams. The very air around us is chill with winter's shadow. They must recognize that. And a bronze Spintrea, so this will help me fix the Wildering Mirror if I so choose. I've received the currency of the secret world, and my patron has let tantalizing information slip. Okay. So, I think there was a talk that I wanted to do. Okay, commissions have been taken care of. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Right, we can send Valsine to fix the mirror. We can begin to repair this, but it will take at least a silver Spintrea to purchase the necessary materials. Okay. And as long as we don't generate fascination, I should be okay. I do also want to keep an eye on my health. We've learned, of course, that I can repair the decrepitude, but that has its own costs. The dead draw back, their almost faces flat and watchful. They will not trouble us. Okay, so we are doing all right on the expedition. I would like to throw a little more money at it, but we should be in a good place. And a season of sickness is coming up, so I will anticipate that by bringing in some vitality. The air is curdled now. I'm home again in this lump in flesh. Better, perhaps. And the commission is done. I finished the manuscript. So, let's take our affliction and vitality. If I didn't do that, then I would be guaranteed to lose that health. And then the question is, do I want to do the other commission right now, or do I want to take a shot at the painting? I think for now, I'm actually happy to try and do some I'm happy to try and do some commissions. Alright, our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now or could add another followers. So the goal right now is to add more funds. So if we just think about the challenges that we're going to be facing for the next little while, we have the Creeping Breath Curse, so harder Grail. We've already got 10 Grail because Saliba is a Cyprian. Then we have a Hidden Door. Hidden Doors can be found with Lantern or Knock. Now we already have Pope Clifton, which means that as soon as the Hidden Door shows up, we only need to move either Cat Caro or Slee, and we're good to go. So this is the time where I want to just keep adding funds to make sure that the expedition can keep going, and then, you know, the rest of it is, you know, we kind of keep forever. OBS is creating some problems for me as far as a freeze. I'm gonna guess that the recording is still happening. I don't think there's a whole lot that I could do even if the recording wasn't moving on. But yeah, I'm a little nervous now. So the one drawback here is that it's frozen the timer at 9:08. And I don't know how much time I actually have left in the playthrough. So I'll say another 10 minutes from here. Okay, sorry, I was distracted, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that we lost. Okay, great, we're at 11:35, so wouldn't have been all that much longer. Our senses are sharpened, we should find this hidden door. Well, let's add Cat Caro to make it a little bit closer to certainty. We'll almost certainly find this hidden door. And again, there's always the chance that it'll fail, but... And the mirror is repaired, it shines again as it did once before. Okay. So now would not be a bad time for me to try and get some more money. So here we're going to talk with Enid about some more burglary. My disciple can probably use their talents to harvest treasures from the unsuspecting. Now we won't get any books from Miah because it's a repeat location. Okay, another season of suspicion coming up. But that's fine. I mean, I'll work with what I've been given, right? And we finished the manuscript. I should have turned in the commission before I sent Enid out on a burglary job, but nothing to be done about that now. So we will use our 1 notoriety and a bunch of passion to try and get that last bit of staleness out. And then, what do I want as inspiration? The favor from authority. That would be a really neat way of actually... I wonder what are the different things you could do to use the favor from authority in a painting. It'll like generate notoriety, but it'll also generate a lot of funds. Oh, that's a neat idea, actually. You never know, this might be a living. So it should have an impact. And the sick room grows close and stale, and it's time to get up. Okay, so essentially the consequences from the decisions that I made in the previous playthrough have now been dealt with, and at this point I kind of just get to decide where I want to put my efforts. So I think we're going to go back through the Peacock's Door. Peacock's Door reflects the mirror I hold in my sleep, and the mirror reflects the Peacock's Door. Already a sensuous shiver ripples its surface, it aches for fracture, and when it finds that satisfaction, I will enter. So in 48 seconds we'll have the health, but we already have the vitality ready to recover it. And faint lines in stone, a surface that yields to pressure. We found it. The hidden door moves with a grating shudder and a shower of dust. So at this point it's really just a question of adding money to the expedition. In fact, we may not need to add another funds. We'll see what it says. I am getting a little short for trips to Port Noon, though. So I'm gonna hold the line here. This is gonna turn into dread. I should be careful of that, but I think in this case I might just use it as something to try and summon a Callagine with. Finished. Exceptional work. This is something special. It may provoke a reaction. Illness has damaged my health. I'll need to rest before I'm fully recovered. And let's see what the artist reward is this time. So contentment, which is good because we're going to have some delightful blood decay. Some other glimmering, some mystique. So about the same return we've seen, but I still have the staleness, sadly. So I suppose the question is, do I want to work with the painting again? What do we have coming up? So we've got kind of a free turn coming up. My vitality has got another 120 seconds left on it. My affliction's going to last even longer. I think I am going to try painting again. Does mean that the notoriety gets extended, but okay, I'm not quite ready. I'm not brave enough for the fascination, so let's try the Red Church. All right, so if I can remember Red Church next time. Amaranthine nectar, one of the flower maker's many gifts. In a brighter age, it might have bestowed immortality. In this blighted history, it still has an unparalleled sweetness. When I visited the Red Church last night, they told me, between their clawings and their caresses, that the flower maker had visited but lately with his nectar and his promise. I woke twinned in sodden sheets, with the amaranthine nectar brimming in my hand. I captured what I could of it, only a few drops, but it will be enough. So at some point we will talk to repair that. I've got my dread and my contentment, so we'll nullify that. And the Red Grail's vigor will almost certainly preserve us from the curse. My follower has returned with their haul. Alright, there's an extra notoriety for my trouble. Oh. It's more than I thought I was going to get. Okay, so I can repair the glass. Again, I got to think... Right, I was going to turn in some commissions. And then I was going to get a new one. I have what was requested. Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained, but we're making some progress. Alright, so we'll pay for the paints. It's not, I mean, this isn't a painting that's intended to make money, but I usually like paying for the paints if I'm in double digits for funds. I've received the currency of the secret world, and my patron has let tantalizing information slip. Normally this would be great for leveling up lore, but we're not quite in a position to be able to take advantage of that yet. A bronze Spintrea, which means that we have a little bit more of a runway in terms of keeping going through the Peacock Door a few more times. The silver Spintrea always allowed us to do that, but if I just rely on the cracked Watchman's glass, then I need to wait the whole time for Valsine to repair it, whereas now we can use both Wildering Mirrors. We essentially have 3 hits, and then however long it takes to repair over the silver Spintrea 6 times. But, speaking of which, we are now going to... Oh, I should have got the commission from Jannings. The world goes away. Something special, it may provoke a reaction. My recent work is considered significant. I may yet earn a living from this, but nothing is certain. Enid keeps winding up in other areas she's not supposed to be. Yeah, it's probably me just not paying attention. Okay, so... And we got rid of the staleness. So if I want to go crazy on my reputation, I can. Do I have an influence I can try and get rid of? Well, here's one thing I can try. So these... So if I try the Seas Feasting, so I can add bitter black salts. And then... Oh, I thought it gave the recipe. I could try King Crucible. That's maybe not... Well, actually, you know what? I have to switch it around. Anyways, it's winter that I was looking for, so the division bell should do... Oh, hang on. It's a little power of winter. That should work. Forge for the Smoky Spirit summoning, winter for its binding. It must know who will rule it. Now, what's kind of neat about this one, I don't do this very often, but this is, you can sort of imagine me doing this alone in sort of my study. And how far are we? The Cursed Rivels. All right, so this is going to be a little bit longer. I apologize for that, but let's try and finish the expedition in Miah. Our power is stronger than the power that was here. The curse won't touch us. Cleared my mind. We will get rid of the affliction now. Treasures lie before us. Basically, we're summoning the Callagine just in time to go to Port Noon. Well, return to Port Noon. We've already been once. And of course, doing so is keeping me from earning money, but you know, you gotta find you gotta find the summon somewhere. The city no more. The wind of Miah is a pettish wind. It tugs at our garments like a needy child. It tosses sand in our faces. It whines among the dust-choked stones. The desolation of the city is not quite absolute. There are pillars, arches, sand-blinded statues, steps to nowhere. Followers at work on the mirror. We'll get an envelope with Paul Samuelson's blood. Oh, I'm going to use... nope, you know what? Risk-averse reason. And we find relics in an abandoned chamber, which might equally have been a cellar or a shrine. The walls are cracked and sand has poured through. When we return to the surface, the wind is rising. It almost tugs us from our feet. Perhaps it missed us. Alright, so we've got our VIPs coming out of the expedition. Good work to all. Callagine's only going to be around for a little bit. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I needed a maid in the mirror anyway. And we got another Amaranthine Nectar. We've got more Watchworms. And we have the Glassfinger Toxin. What is within, without? What is without, within? A poison sacred to the votaries of the Menascate. Alright. So, I'm going to just resolve the last few items that we have here. So the sick room grows close and stale, time to get up. We do have an old unhappy far off thing, so I can use that in a painting. That's not too much of a worry. We have the delightful blood, which we will use momentarily. These will probably go unused, and we're running out of reputation, so I do need to be a little bit careful about the perils of renown. However, it is also very tempting to paint away a lot of things. So the plan for the next few episodes, I think, is going to be to go through the 2 Port Noon locations. Whatever reputation we have left, I'm going to obliterate by moving into Moorlands. Once we take the 2 Port Noon locations, we'll essentially be back to studying and gaining some more lore, and then I probably also need to take the opportunity to earn some more financing. We probably have enough to be able to handle the expeditions. I do need to think about where the income is coming from. but overall, I feel like we should be able to. I feel like we should be able to handle 2 expeditions, and then I can just take my board seat back at Glover and Glover while we prepare sort of the last run on Port Noon, and then we can perform the vitulation. As always, thank you very much for watching, particularly with the longer episode. One other thing. Oh, yes, actually, 2 episodes ago, apparently this is Boran. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it's an Irish word. But I remember at the end of that episode, I felt like an idiot because I couldn't pronounce it. I'm sure one of you will be able to help me out with that. The one announcement I did want to get done as well, I can't say anything yet, but I have been chatting with some developers about doing something like the Steam stream that I did for Cultist Simulator. And of course, if Weather Factory invites me, I would do another one of those as well. But one difficulty that I have found with those recordings, or with those sessions, is that it often coincides with private information about when the event is going to go on. I usually can't announce that until the moment it happens. So if you happen to know, if you have some ideas about the best way to communicate that to you, the previous one was just I put a YouTube video up saying that I was doing it, and then I just took the video down when the event was done. If there is a better way for me to communicate that information, now would not be a bad time to let me know. I don't have anything guaranteed coming up yet, but the conversations are happening now, and I thought it would be better to just try and get some ideas so that I could bring them up to the developers, and they would, they would be able to say what works or what doesn't. For now, though, I'll try and announce things as best as I can. And of course, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you feel like it, I would really appreciate a comment or a like or other engagement on the videos. I both like hearing from you, and I do appreciate the extra visibility that comes from it. But if nothing else, if you're still around for the next episode, that will be 6:30 Eastern Time on Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.